this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe. But really just hit that like button for me. That would be great. And I appreciate all the different people that have been watching my videos and commenting. Some of the comments were when I originally said that, you know, maybe he put the scope on later because that'd be kind of hard to fit it in the pants. Apparently you can do that. But maybe you put that the scope on later or assembled a portion of the rifle when he got on the roof. You know, I got a lot of pushback from it. But it sounds like that they found a screwdriver on the roof that had his DNA on it. And I'll show you where likely the screwdriver was found. So let's go.
Once I got there, along with the deputy on the ground, around 5 p.m. local on September 11th, was walk the entire crime scene, including the suspect himself.
And this is Kash Patel, you know, obviously the head of the FBI, and he was on Fox News this morning, and 4:27 Pacific time, which is way before I'm awake.
And what we learned was there was evidence, DNA.
So I think it's cool. He walked the entire route that the killer took, and you know, I wish I could do something like that. But we obviously wouldn't be privy to the information inside, where the surveillance cameras are, etc. I wish they would release every bit of surveillance inside the building.
DNA evidence that could be collected and had been collected, including a screwdriver that was found on the rooftop. Also, we went over to the scene in the wooded area where the firearm was discarded, and the firearm had a towel wrapped around it. It's important. I'll get back to that later. And I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody. His family has collectively told investigators that he subscribed to left-wing ideology, and even more so in these last couple of years. And he had a text message exchange, he the suspect, with another individual, in which he claimed that he had an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and he was going to do it because of his hatred for what Charlie stood for. I'm sorry. So what I'm able to say is, I addressed it partially earlier, is that the written note, we believe, what did exist, and we have evidence to show what was in that note, which is, and I'm going to summarize, basically saying, the suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of the note, and we have confirmed what that note says because of our aggressive interview posture at the FBI.
So you guys, it's confirmed, left-wing ideology. He used terms that you frequently see spouted out on CNN, MSNBC, and by mainstream political figures out there, calling, you know, Trump or any other conservative fascist and racist and, you know, like Hitler. And when they do that, they create hate in individuals, and that think that if they take this person out, they're doing good for humanity. And it's just disgusting, and it's so obvious. And you see some people, like even Fetterman and other Democratic people, are now observing that and telling people that that is the problem. All right, so let's take a look at what Kash Patel just referred to right there. So we know all of this information. We've seen it, right? The killer walks by right here on surveillance camera. He walks over here. And we'll just start at the 11:58. There is new footage. I'll make another video on the new footage later. And that is new footage of just him walking in a neighborhood. And that neighborhood is actually right up here. So we're going to have to kind of work through that and figure out what the hell that even means and what he was doing. It's much prior to the murder. And it's actually, I'm not really sure when it is in relationship to the new footage that's out there on this surveillance camera right here, where he's wearing the shorts, etc., walking by. All right, so we know that at 11:48, he's walking by right here, and then 11:53, he is on his phone right here, and then he walks into the tunnel. And then just 9 minutes later, they have him on camera. So, you know, you look at it visually like this. He's walking in this tunnel, and then he makes his way over here, and this camera right here picks him up walking right in this area. And then it shows him go through the door over here, apparently. And he goes through that door at 12:02. So that's only 9 minutes after he goes through the tunnel. And then he does something for 13 minutes inside the building there, and then comes up these stairs right here. Now, in this complex, anytime you see this brown roofing, that's like a common area where people can actually walk and stand and hang out. All right, so he came up this staircase right here, and then at 12:15 he was standing over here, and then at 12:17 he jumps over this little wall here. Okay, and then at 12:22 he runs away. So that means there's 5 minutes where he's right here, and this is where I suggested he, you know, either assembled or, you know, prepared, got ready. But I got a lot of pushback when I said, you know, he probably put something together right here, and maybe that made his rifle even easier to disguise when he was walking. But I got a lot of pushback, and people always get angry because they're such experts on every single element of everything. But that was my original thought, okay? And I don't think at the end that he disassembled it because there wouldn't be time. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if the screwdriver is here. I don't know why he would leave it there. That seems idiotic. It could be, though, he ran after running over here. So this is 12:22. He's right here. He lays down right here and fires a shot at Charlie Kirk. And in fact, here's a shot in the exact same spot that was put out there in the media yesterday. So if you look at that and you look at this angle right there, it's almost exactly the same. And I tried to explain to people how if you're just over to the right a little bit, you can even see it in this one. If you're over to the right, you don't have a shot if you're laying down to the stage over there. Right? So like if you slid over like that and you're down low, this building blocks the shot. But if you slide right over here a little bit, right near the edge, you have a wide shot. Then at that time, that was 12:23, he gets up and runs this direction. I've gone over this many times, but people still haven't seen it. I think today, though, it's appropriate to sort of point it out again with the DNA. Then he climbs down the wall right here, and you see in the video, right here, where he's climbing down in that exact location. So look at, he puts the gun down, wrapped in a black towel, and then he steps down with his feet, and then he reaches up and grabs the gun, and you can really see it really clearly right in this shot. I mean, you know, you can't make out the serial number or anything, but right here, there's the rifle, and it's swinging over the edge. And now he's got it in his right hand. See, it's long, and it's wrapped in a black towel. And then he jumps off the roof. And he lands, and his glasses fall off, apparently. That's what somebody suggested. I totally agree with it. And right now he's sort of running with the glasses in his left hand, and he's trying to put the glasses right now. He's working with the glasses. Now right there, he's putting the glasses on his head. So as a matter of fact, I didn't realize you could see that clearly what he's doing. So right now he's got the glasses in his left hand. You can even see the glasses, if you can believe that. That little shadow area there. So he's going like this. Now watch that left hand. He's kind of trying to flip the glasses open because he only got one hand to work with. And then right there, he puts the glasses back on his head. See that? Right there. And he's just struggling with it. And then we go over here. And notice how he's just still kind of, he's got his head down. He wants to make sure that people can't see him. Now he's feeling pretty good. He's still got his head down. And he's working with the gun now, trying to get it all wrapped up. And we've gone over this before. So then he eventually, from there, from that position, which is right here, he runs around and he crosses over the road here and then goes into this wooded area. And they can see it all on this camera that's right there. It can actually see everything. Okay, so he goes in there. Then law enforcement went into those woods based on the surveillance and found the rifle and the black towel. Turns out his DNA is on the black towel, and his DNA was on the screwdriver found on the roof. And if I could guess, I would say that the screwdriver was found right here on the roof. Now, it's also possible after he got it and he was in prone position, it fell out of his pocket and they just found it on the roof somewhere. But I think the fact that he has a screwdriver with him likely indicates that he used that at one point to assemble a portion of the rifle. And maybe that's the scope that he was using. Now, people say, well, he would lose the sighting of it. Well, I'm sure it's still pretty accurate. It's only a 140-yard shot. So a lot of people in the media keep telling everybody that it was a 200-yard shot, but it absolutely wasn't. Here's the stage. Can we all agree that that's the stage right there? Charlie Kirk was actually probably right here, but I'll even measure it from all the way back at the wall there. All right, so let's go right here. I'm going to get the measuring tool. We have it in yards. Go right there and right there, and it's 142.53. I would say the actual distance is probably something like 139 yards. It might even be less than that. So it's not a very long shot, and if you have a decent scope and you can screw it back on in general where you had it, that might be why you hit him in the neck. If the bullet did in fact hit him in the neck, there's some people out there that speculate that he had a breastplate on and it ricocheted up into the neck. We'll have to wait for the findings on that. But that might be why he missed. He might have been going for a headshot and hit him in the neck. And so I think it's very possible that he screwed the sight back on. And that's all he was doing in that 5 minutes. So maybe he actually assembled just a small portion of the rifle. Like, it wasn't totally disassembled. He just put on the butt section. I saw one video where there's just one screw that you use, but I don't know how it is in his weapon. And so if you have the answer to that in the comments, that would be great. But I believe he definitely used the screwdriver to assemble a portion of the rifle on the roof. And that's exactly what I was saying before, but I always get admonished in the comments by everybody. And I hope a lot of you that were doing that, you now go, maybe this gray guy can actually think through things a little bit. It's weird. So if we just take a look at this walking again, and now we can all just realize that he absolutely has a gun with him, and view it differently if you're one of the people that was so skeptical. Just look. His right leg has a rifle in his pants, and the barrel only goes just right to the knee, so he can still bend that leg a little bit, but he can't swing the leg forward. And that's exactly why when he walks, I think if this one might even be a better one to look at. See, when he walks, see how the right leg only can swing forward a little bit? And the backpack is masking the weapon as it would bulge out behind him. So you got a picture that the weapon is only from about right here and then up into this area in his back. And the backpack's making it so you can't see it kind of bulge out on each step. It would be really obvious. And there he goes walking by. And as I said before, from that location, which is right here, in that video, you see him walk and turn right there, likely goes over that little bridge, through the parking lot, into the tunnel. And I'll tell you what's really shocking to me is the speed of the assassination. I mean, he was right in this location at 12:15 and then stepped over this wall at 12:17. And then at 12:22, he was right there, ran over here, killed Charlie Kirk at 12:23, and is off the roof at 12:23 and is crossing this road at 12:24. So in less than 2 minutes, he runs from here, shoots, off the roof, and is out of there. Now that seems like that would have had to take some planning to have something like that figured out. I don't know why he dumped the towel and the rifle. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. But maybe he was getting nervous that people would see him with it because he wasn't able to control it that well. But you would think once he got off the main road, but maybe he thought when he got onto those side streets, there's a lot of surveillance cameras out there. And since he hadn't broken it down or put it in his pants, it would be really clear on these cameras that he's carrying a rifle. So he hid it to be collected at a later date. All right. Well, anyways, I thought this was really interesting, new information. Obviously, we'll be talking about it later this evening. And I want to say thank you for watching. If you hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.